guys, it's Rachel here from GESHELLI Labs, and today I'm going to teach you how to swap out your op amps on your DAYZEE DAC Plexi version. So today is just going to be for Plexi, so I'm going to show you exactly what to take apart in order to swap out your op amps, and then what you're going to need and how to put it back together. So let's get into it. So first, let's go over what you're going to need. You're going to need a 2.5mm Allen wrench or hand tool. So I, of course, have this hand tool, or you can use a drill as well. Just be super careful as Plexi breaks and cracks very easily. So I would recommend, even if you have a drill, using it by hand or just using an Allen wrench or a hand tool like this. So the next thing you're going to need is, of course, your op amp of choice. So the standard op amp that comes in the DAYZEE DAC is going to be the TI OPA 1655s. But we do have three options of an upgrade. So the first is going to be the Sparkos 2590s. The second is going to be the Burson V7 Vivid single, or the Burson V7 Classic single. Now remember, when swapping out your op amps on your DAYZEE DAC, you do have to do all 8 of them. You can't just do 4 or 2 or 6. You do have to do all 8. So taking apart your DAYZEE is actually very simple for the Plexi version. So all you're going to do is take your 2.5mm Allen wrench, and you're going to just take off the 4 screws that are on the top in each corner of your case. So let's start with that. Okay, so now that all 4 screws are out, all you're going to do is you're going to take the sides and just pull up, and you're going to gently place down the top. You can lay something down, just make sure it's a microfiber towel or something that isn't going to scratch the top of the Plexi. So now looking down at your DAC, you're going to see your 8 op amps that are going to be right here. Some are going to be under the wires, but you can just easily pull up on those. You're not going to hurt anything, just make sure it's gentle. And what you're going to do is you're just going to gently pull up your op amp. So we're going to do all 8 of them. Just make sure you're super, super gentle when you pull up on the op amps, and make sure you're pulling straight up so you don't damage any pins or cause any damage to the socket. Okay, so now that your op amps are out of the sockets on the product, you're going to be able to look down at your board, and you're going to find the little arc, I like to call it, but it is an indicator of how your op amp is going to plug in. So I have a little picture here, and as you can see on the top, there is a little arc. So that's where you look on your op amp to find the little indicator of how it plugs in. So if you are looking directly down at your product, now I have the back facing towards me, front facing you. So if you're sitting behind the product and you have it in front of you, all of those little arcs that I'm talking about are going to be almost towards the front of the product. So it's going to be in front, all facing this way, if that helps. But best way to do it is find the arc and match the arc on your op amp. So each op amp is going to be a little bit different. So for the Burson V7 Vivids and Classic single, they're both going to have the same arc. But for the Texas Instrument OPA 1655s, they're going to have the exact arc that I'm talking about that matches up on the board, just in case you want to put these back in. I'm going to include pictures here of all of the arcs that you're looking for both the Burson and the OPA 1655s. Now for the 2590, it does differ from all of the other op amps that we offer. So these are not going to go into the 8-pin sockets that are on the board. These are actually going to go into the silver little inserts that are on the outside of the socket. So you're going to see on one side there's 4, on the other side there's 2, and it matches up exactly with the 4 and 2 that are on the 2590. So that is how those are going to go in. But I will show you an up-close video as well so you guys can see exactly where to put them. So looking at the sockets on the DAYZEE DAC, you're going to see the little indicator right here. When looking at the Burson V7 Classic single, you're going to see the little arc that's right here on the top. You see that? That is the arc, that is the indicator that is how it gets plugged in. So you're going to match that with the arc on the board. Same with the Burson V7 Vivids. See the arc right here on the top? That is the indicator on this op amp. You can see the arc right here on the top of the op amp, right there. That is the indicator on this op amp. Now looking at the 2590, you can see the 4 pins over here and the 2 over here match up with the 4 pins on this side and the 2 pins on this side. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put in all 4 op amps. Again, for this video, I am going to be using 4 different op amps, but when you are swapping out your op amps, you do have to do all 8 of the same exact op amp, but for video purposes, I'm going to just do the 4 to show you guys exactly how to put one of each into the socket. Okay, so starting with the Burson V7 Classic Single, you're going to take your op amp, you're going to find the indicator, so look for that little arc. You're going to match up all 8 pins, 4 on each side. You're going to find the middle and you are just going to give it a little push and you should hear the click and that means it's in place. Okay, so now we are going to do the Burson V7 Vivid Single and it's going to be the exact same as the Classics. So you're going to line up all 8 pins, 4 on each side, find the middle and you're just going to give it a good push. Soon you hear that click, that means it is in place. Next, we are going to do the TI OPA 1655, just in case you want to put those back in. So you're going to find your arc, match the arc with the arc, and you're just going to line up all 8 pins and just push down and it's in place. Okay, so now moving on to the Sparkos 2590, as it does differ a little than all of the other op amps that I just showed you, you're going to use these on the outside. So these are still sockets, so you're going to line up the 4 and the 2 like that. Make sure they're all in the holes, and then you're just going to give it a little press down the middle, and it's in place. Soon you hear that click. Okay, so now that you have swapped out your op amps, let's put the product back together. Okay, so depending on where you're sitting with the product in front of you, you want to make sure that the Plexi plate is going to be the correct way. So I am sitting with the product towards the back of me. So I want to make sure that it says GESHELLI Daizee when you are looking from the front view of the product. So when looking at your product, you're going to see little bumps here, 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 and here, and here. So it's going to be 2 on each side. So when you're looking at your glass, you're going to see these little holes, and all of those little bumps that I just showed you match up exactly with the holes. So when putting it back together, just match it up and then just place it down. So it might take a little bit of maneuvering, and that is 100% okay. We do it every day. So you just want to match up all 8 areas. You might hear that. It's no big deal. That just means that it's getting put into place. So I find it easiest on the last part because it could be a little bit difficult to get it in. Pull the side out just a little bit, and then you can just gently push it back in until you get to where it is lined up and pushed down. Okay, so soon you have all 4 sides lined up and none of them are a little too far out or anything of that sort. They should all line up perfectly with the 4 screw holes, and you're just going to take your 4 screws and screw them back in. All right, so soon you have your unit put back together. You're good to go. Just make sure you, 1, plugged in your op amps correctly. You match the indicator to the indicator or the arc to the arc. And you screw in your screws very gently, as Plexi is easy to crack and break. But if it happens to crack or break, just email in, call in, and we can get a new piece sent out to you. But yeah, that is it. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. And just remember, be kind, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.